Phoenix Neighborhood Patrol Program. In this series of videos, we're going to talk about using the new online reporting system. Welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about entering your log sheets. So the first thing you need to do is navigate to volunteer.phoenix.gov, and it'll bring you to this page, and you go over here and you log in. Again, use your username and password. And it brings you to the welcome back page. So from here, again, we want to report our logs or turn in our logs, so that falls under Report My Service. So click Report My Service, and it's going to open up a log sheet. Most of us are only assigned to one precinct. We only have one job opportunity listed, so it will default and open up a log sheet for that particular precinct. There's a small handful of us that are assigned to more than one precinct. For you folks, what you would need to do is go up here to the drop-down arrow and select it, and it will list the other opportunities you're assigned to, and you would need to select the one you're reporting hours for. But for most of us, it'll default to the correct one. So let's go over the log sheet real quickly. It's your basic internet form. It's got a start and end date. It's got a calendar feature here to pick your days from. It'll default to today. If you need to move around by the month, this arrow here will take you back a month. This will take you back a full year. This arrow will take you forward 1 month, and this will take you forward a full year. So then you got your start time, end time, your patrol hours, your admin hours, your total miles. What's the difference in patrol hours and admin hours? Patrol hours are those hours when you are patrolling, whether it's on foot, on a bicycle, in a car, in your neighborhood, patrolling with a friend in another neighborhood, or maybe attending a group patrol somewhere else in the city. Those are going to be patrol hours. Admin hours are those hours that aren't patrol. It's pretty much everything else. It could be working on your web page. It could be doing a newsletter. Maybe you're staffed a booth for PNP. Maybe you've came to the PNP class, or you were at the class helping us put it on. You attended meetings. All those things, they all benefit the PNP program, and therefore they should be counted as admin hours. So basically, any hours you donate to the program that's not patrol falls under admin hours. And then your total miles. Pretty simple. So then we have the odometer start and end here. Again, this is optional. You can fill this out if you'd like. There's a few groups that have grant money for fuel reimbursement. You're still going to have to do the old handwritten logs for now until we get this system working well enough and approved by the grant folks that it is good documentation for the grant monies. So for those few groups that got Blockwatch grant money for fuel reimbursement, do the old log sheets for now, and I'll let you know when we get it approved to do it here on this system. And then your log area, or your note area, is basically some kind of notes that remind you of what happened that day. It could be very, very short. It could be a little bit more detailed depending on what happened. If you called Crime Stop or 911, I think that would be something you'd want to put in the notes. If you saw some kind of activity in the neighborhood, if you painted over graffiti, maybe put that down, how many sites, anything like that. Something that'll jog your memory later. And then we have the OK button. Everything you do in this system has some kind of a submit button. On this particular one, it's called OK. In other places, it's submit or update or input. So that's it. So let's do our very first log. Your first log is probably going to be the time you attended the class. So we had a class on September 10th. So your start date will be on the 10th, your end date will be on the 10th. It seemed like a long class, but it wasn't more than a day. We started at 8 in the morning. We ended at noon. Noon is 12 p.m. And it's not patrol hours, it's going to be admin hours. We were there for 4 hours. It may have seemed longer, but it was only 4. And then just type in like attended, PNP, Blockwatch class. And you can put like I had a good time, something like that. No, you don't need to, but that's good enough. And you hit OK. And it brings back this screen where it says thank you at the top. That way you know that the log sheet was accepted. So let's make another log entry. So for your start and end date, I would prefer that you do a log sheet every time you go out and patrol. there could be times where maybe you would like to just do it for the week. There are some times where I think maybe a month might be a reasonable time to put it in there, but never. I would not like any of them over a month long. We have to do reports to the city manager, and it's all broken down by quarters and months. So a log sheet that's longer than a month would be just troublesome for us. So keep it to a month or less. I prefer it every time you go out and patrol, you do a log. But I do see where a month at a time might be useful. So let's say for your admin time in September, you I said admin time. Let's say you did 20 hours. And maybe that's because you wrote a newsletter. You maybe assisted with 2 PNP classes. And maybe you staffed a recruiting booth. This way you could take care of all the admin time you did at one time, put some notes in here, and you submit OK. Let's do another quick log. You see they're very quick to do. So let's say on September 1st, I'm going to go back because I have a lot of duplications of effort on Mr. Test Subject here. So let's just do another one. Maybe we patrolled 3 hours on the 1st. We went out at, you don't have to change the times, but you can. So let's say we went out at 4 a.m. and we got back at about 7. 3 hours. We're not going to put any patrol miles. Maybe we walk neighborhood. Walk neighborhood. Very quiet. So you walked through a neighborhood, it was very quiet, but you reported some graffiti to NSD. You can actually put the intersection, but I'm not good at making stuff up, so we're not going to. So then you submit OK, and we're done. So now in just a matter of minutes, we've entered 3 different log sheets. Okay, let's go over and check our work. Let's go to View My Logbook. This area shows all the hours that have been entered, or all the logs that have been entered on your behalf, whether you did it yourself or it was done by your coordinator. It defaults on the start date to what you last had in here, but you can change the start and end dates of what's displayed to anything that makes you happy. You look up top, it shows that we're still working with Mr. Test Subject. Your name should be displayed there. And it shows it has all rows displayed. You can narrow it down, whatever makes you happy to make this work easiest for you. I'm going to scroll down just a little bit so you can kind of see what's happening at the bottom here. But where my cursor is, you can see these are all the patrol logs entered for 200 Precinct on behalf of Mr. Test Subject within this time span. This is good information. This is a great place to look to see if you have your entries made. Double check for any errors. If you do have an error, you can fix it. If it's something where you just need to change your hours or change something in it, you could use the Edit Selected Record box here. So you would just select a record by putting a check in the box, and you hit Edit that record. It'll open it up where you can make your changes to it. As you can see, Mr. Test Subject has a lot of entries for September 10th. That's because it takes me several takes to get one of these videos done correctly. So I have several of the same records. So we can go in here and delete a few of these. This could happen to you too. You could, by mistake, enter a couple extra records. So let's take a couple of these from the 10th off. It's going to say, do you really want to delete these? Just like every other computer program out there, it's going to ask you to verify stuff before you delete it. Here you go. Where else this is useful would be if you don't remember if you entered a log. So maybe you patrolled on the 8th and you don't remember if you got home and entered a log on it or not. So you could look here and you say, no, I have the 7th and I have the 10th. I don't have any record for the 8th. So then you could go over here back to Report My Service and enter your log for the 8th. So let's scroll down a little bit. I'll show you some of the other information that is contained here. it shows you kind of a summary of what is contained up top here. So whatever time span you gave it, it shows you a summary of what's happening. So Mr. Test Subject within this time span has patrolled 22 hours, has 28 hours of admin time, has patrolled for 77.5 miles. And that's pretty much it. So this is good information that shows every record you have, so you can keep changing this time span to whatever you would like. If you want to see everything you've done this year, you could add that as well. So there we go. And that will kind of end it for this video. We have talked today about entering log sheets and then verifying your information under the logbook. There's two things I don't know if I talked about yet. But on the log sheets, if you do, or on the reports, if you want to print your logbook out, there's a print icon right here. You can use that print icon to print this page. I'm not sure why you would need to do it, but you just never know. Several people have asked, is there a way to print your log sheets? There is no print icon here. I will bring that up at our next meeting with the people in charge of the program and suggest that. But until then, all you need to do is hit Control and the letter P, and your print screen will open up and you can print this screen. It's an old Windows trick, but it still works. So we are going to log out now and call this video over with. We'll talk to you guys next time.